All right, let's get right into it. If you're an entrepreneur from outside the US, you've probably seen a ton of guides on setting up an LLC. But you know what? This isn't just about opening a business. It's about building one that's truly unbreakable. We're going to go way beyond the simple how-tos and uncover the strategic framework you need, because trust me, the biggest risks are the ones you never see coming.
Just imagine waking up to this email. No reason given, no one to call. This is a real message that US banks send out, and it happens way more than you'd think. 1 minute, your entire US operation is humming along, and the next, poof, your financial lifeline is just gone. The stakes here are incredibly high.
And that is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It's not about just getting your foot in the door. It's about making sure that door doesn't get slammed in your face later. So let's break it down. We're going to lay out a clear 3-pillar strategy to make your US business solid for the long haul.
Okay, first things first. Pillar number 1, your US corporate shield. Before you even think about money, banking, or payments, you need a fortress. And in the US system, that fortress is your legal entity. This is so much more than paperwork. It's your first and most critical line of defense.
Now, the best tool for building that fortress is the LLC, the limited liability company. And here's the genius part for international founders. It gives you 2 massive benefits. First, it puts up a legal wall between your personal stuff, your house, your car, and your business debts. Second, it gives you something called pass-through taxation. Basically, the profits flow right through the company to you, and the LLC itself doesn't get hit with US income tax. That is a game changer.
So why an LLC? Well, it hits that perfect sweet spot. You get serious legal protection, but without all the crazy admin headaches of a full-blown corporation. And most importantly, it is the key that unlocks the whole US financial world for you. We're talking banks, Stripe, you name it. For most folks abroad, the top choices are Wyoming, which is amazing for privacy, and Delaware, which has that corporate prestige.
All right, you've got your shield built. Time for pillar 2, securing your financial lifeline. And that lifeline is your US bank account. It's how you get paid, how you pay for things. I mean, without it, you're pretty much locked out of the entire US market. It's that essential.
So, you basically got 3 ways to get one. You can of course fly to the US and do it in person. The most efficient route for most people though is to use your shiny new LLC and EIN to apply online. There are great online banks, fintechs like Mercury or Relay that are perfect for this. Now that third option, using a US manager, I'd call that a last resort. It just creates a huge risk when you're literally handing over control of your money to someone else. Okay, now lean in, because this is probably the single most important, non-obvious thing to understand about US banks. They are not worried about money coming in. You get $1 million from a US client, they love it. Their entire compliance system, it is almost exclusively focused on one thing. Where is money going out, especially if it's going overseas? This right here is the secret key.
Okay, so before we talk about the strategy for getting money out safely, we gotta make sure you can get paid in the first place. That brings us to pillar 3. Your US clients are gonna ask you for paperwork. And this is where so many people get lost in this alphabet soup of tax forms. But I promise it's way simpler than it looks. You know what? It really just comes down to this one simple question. Is the payment going to you as a person, like Fred Smith? Then you fill out form W-8-BEN. Is the payment going to your foreign company, say Smith Enterprises Ltd? Then you use the W-8-BEN-E. And, super important note, if you're like Fred and you own a single member LLC, you're still considered an individual for this. So you still use that first form, the W-8-BEN. And please, don't get scared when you see the W-8-BNE. It looks like a beast, but for most regular businesses, you're only filling out a few little sections. You put in your company info, check the box that says corporation, check another box that says you're an active NFFE, which is just fancy talk for a normal operating business, and then you sign and date it. That's usually it, you're done.
Okay, let's put it all together. We've got our LLC shield, we've got our bank account Lifeline. Now it is time for the master strategy that connects everything. This is the single most important tactic you can use to keep that bank account safe and sound. And it all goes back to that core secret: what banks worry about.
So this is the #1 mistake people make, right here. You get a big payment from a client into your US bank. Great. Then you turn right around and send an international wire from that same account to pay a supplier overseas or just to take your profits home. Every single time you do this, you are lighting up a little red flag in the bank's system.
This is the exact cause and effect that gets people those scary shutdown emails. The bank's computer sees a US account that looks like it's just a pass-through for international money. And what's the easiest way for them to solve that risk? Just close the account. They don't call you, they don't investigate, they just cut the cord.
So how do you get around this trap?
The answer is beautifully simple. You create a buffer.
Instead of your main bank sending money internationally, you introduce a middleman, an intermediary service. This one move insulates your primary bank account from all that activity that makes them nervous. Here's exactly how it works. Step 1. Your clients pay you into your main US bank just like normal. But then, and this is the key, step 2, the buffer. You make a simple domestic transfer from your bank to a US dollar account you have with an intermediary. To your bank, this just looks like you're paying another US company. Totally normal. Finally, step 3. You use that intermediary service, which is built for this stuff, to send the money wherever it needs to go internationally. Your main bank never sees the international part. It's brilliant. And the best part is, you've got amazing tools to build this buffer. Services like Wise, Airwallex, and Payoneer are absolute pros at this. They're designed to handle international payments. They act as your dedicated risk mitigation toolkit, protecting your most valuable asset.
Now, building this system is a huge leap forward. But I gotta be honest, it's not a set it and forget it kind of deal. The whole financial and legal world in the US is constantly changing, and staying safe means staying on top of the rules.
I mean, just look at this timeline. The LLC itself is still pretty new in the grand scheme of things. Then, just recently, this huge new law, the Corporate Transparency Act, added all these new reporting rules, only for a court to turn around and say it's unconstitutional, which throws everything into chaos. The point is, the rules of the game are always changing.
So here's the real takeaway. The US system isn't some big, scary fortress you can't get into. It's more like a game. A complex game, for sure, but one with rules. And once you learn those rules and use a smart strategy like the one we just talked about, you can play the game, you can avoid the penalties, and you can build a business that truly lasts.
So that leaves us with one final question I want you to ask yourself. Right now, looking at your own setup, have you diversified your lifelines? Have you built in these buffers, or is your entire business balancing on one single point of failure? Just one unexpected letter away from being shut down. The time to build that fortress is now.